Hello, this is Steven Seifert. I think this is QDF 14. It is Saturday, October 5th, 2024. We're doing old time fiddle tunes I've been loving lately. These tunes have been turning up in jams more and more over the last few years, and by few I mean 17. And I do mean that. You need some new ones, and I'm sure some of these will scratch your itch. Bring a capo. While this is mostly a repertoire class, expect a good bit of advice on how to improve your technique, at least a little. Um, and I try not to pick tunes that I've done a lot recently. I might have done them a little, but not a whole lot. So we've got Blackberry Blossom. All these will be DAD. And I'm just calling them out real quick. Blackberry Blossom, which is Capo 3, and that says that in the upper left hand corner. Greasy Coat, Capo 4. Quince Dillon's High D, no capo needed. And Train on the Mountain, Capo 3. So we have two G tunes, an A tune, and a D tune. And this happens a lot in old time circles. You play a lot in D, G, and A. I think the most tunes, I was counting tunes in a weird way, but I had the computer figure out mostly it was D tunes on the fiddle. And in a close second place, it was G tunes. And there weren't as many A tunes. Now, when I said that to very good fiddlers, they disagreed with those ratios, but, you know. I want to start with a pleasant one. What do you think? So, let me look at the last one here. Yeah, let's do Train on the Mountain. I learned this from West Virginia fiddler Harvey Sampson. I got it from Augusta, the Elkins old time store up in Elkins, West Virginia. We had just called that event Augusta. And I'm dropping things. Here we go. I ended up playing this with David Schnaufer, and we had a good time with it. It's got some words to it. Train on the mountain, thought I heard it blow. Wonder where my true love is. She don't write no mo. That was it. Train on the island. Some people say island, which I love that, like a little island train. Train on the mountain. Thought I heard it blow. Wonder where my true love is. She don't write no more. It's kind of a cool tune. Now, capoing and tuning. The ideal situation is you get this thing in tune before the capo goes on. You put your capo on correctly, you'll still be in tune. When you go to put that capo on, if you push down too much towards the frets, it'll actually bend the notes sharp. And I could spend a half hour talking about different kinds of capos and capo placement, but we will spare that. But if you have a question, of course, I'll help. But this is an intermediate class. But I think whatever capo you have, however you're putting it on, you just don't push too hard. Now, the ugly side of that is if you don't push enough, you're going to get a buzz. And it's possible to push too hard over the bass and not hard enough over the melody, in which case you have a sharp bass and a buzzy melody string. Sometimes, if you put a capo on and it's out of tune, just barely loosen the capo, kind of jiggle it around a little, try again, and sometimes it'll sound pretty good. And then, if you're under the gun, you might have to tune it a little. you know. But don't be scared of capos because you think you got to retune all the time. When you get better at using them, things work out. So I'm going to play this for you. I want you to hear it. I'm going to play it a little different. It's a neat old tune. But dulcimer players don't do that too much. But if you're interested, you can look on a David Schnaufer record, and the two of us are playing it together very quickly. Now, I did two different versions there. I kind of tried to play what was on the paper the first time, and then I quit worrying about the paper and just, It's like when you go on vacation and one of you has a plan for everywhere you're going to go, and then something happens, and it's like, okay, I guess we'll just go to Cracker Barrel then, if that's what you want. It's kind of, I like both. I like to have planning, and I like to wing it. That's my ideal vacation. So, now as far as your strum goes, this is kind of a repertoire class, so I want to see if you have questions about the strum, but let's just play this thing a little bit. Now, I think it's really good. If I gave you a recording right now and you would listen to that over the next 2 weeks and just hum the tunes, it would be so much easier now to play them, even if what you were humming was messed up. Any way you interact with this in a non-written way over a period of time can really allow us to work with the paper, I think, in a better way. So pretend you did that for 2 weeks. I'm also going to give you some survival tips, because when I first encounter a tune, sometimes there's weird things in there that are better explored later. For instance, look at measure 1, Train on the Mountain. That 7 is on the and of the 4th beat. And that 10 has a dot on it. So that's a dotted quarter followed by an 8th note. I think I want to ignore that dot and that 8th, and I want to pretend that measure is 4 quarter notes, just for a little bit, just to kind of get you rolling. So it's going to be like this. Something like that. I do this all the time because good fiddlers will sometimes make something dotted and the next time they won't. So it's not like that's an official part of the tune. So I often like to just find little ways to simplify the weirdest part so I can get it down, and then I can explore, other stuff. So let's try it. First measure is just quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, go. let's stop there. Another thing I want you to do is add some extra strums in here wherever you like. So you do not have to obey the paper. If you don't know how to add extra strums, I just want you to try. We could talk about that in a minute. 1, 2, ready, go. 7. Coming up. There it is. 8, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 8, 7, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 0, 4, 0, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 5, 0, 4, 0. Let's further simplify this before we play it fancier. Look at measure 4. That 8, 7 at the end of measure 4, end of the first line. One trick I do a lot, and we talked about it in the last class, is I often temporarily or permanently get rid of the second note of eighth note pairs, especially when they're different. But this whole tune, there are places where I might get rid of the second note of an eighth note pair. The end of the first line, the 8 and the 7, they're tied together with what looks like a staple. Just ignore the second note in it. So measure 4, I want you to just see 7, 7, 8. We're just not going to worry about going back to that 7. So ignore that. From the beginning, 1, 2, ready, go. 10, 10, 10, 7. Add some extra strums. 7, 8, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 8, 5, 5, 5. Also, in measure 5, look at that eighth note pair. Let's ignore that 4. Look at measure 2, that pair of 7s. You can ignore that one. And what I try to do, as much as the tune will let me, is start removing things so I can find the bare bones version. Because that is what I will connect with. That will be my foundation for everything that comes later. From the beginning. So the eighth note pair in measures 2, 4, and 5, I want you to ignore the second number and just pretend the first number is a quarter note. That means measure 5 will just be 4 5s. And add extra strums, please, from the beginning. 1, 2, ready, go. 8, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 8. Next line. 5, 5, 5, 5, 0, 4, 0. Okay? Oh, I got to show you another thing. Look at measure 2, that 10. If you look at the traditional notes above it, that's a half note. Now, in some of my newer tablature, I circle the numbers in the tablature if they're half notes. So if that's tripping you up, you might want to circle that 10 just to remember it's a longer note. Also, you'll see that in measure 4, you've got a half note, that first 7. Sometimes what I do with half notes is turn them into a bunch of quarter notes. So in measure 2, that 10 could become 2 10s, 2 quarter notes. And in measure 4, that 7 could become 2 7s, quarter notes. So look at measure 4. Now, and why am I doing this? I don't want to preach about it, but there's so many tunes we don't play just because there's a dotted note and a couple weird half notes in it, you know. And if you get rid of those, you find out the fiddlers sometimes mess with them too. So we're going to just make it a little more friendly. Look at measure 4. If we take that first 7 that's a half note and turn it into 2 quarter notes, then the measure will start with 3 quarter notes. 7, 7, 7. That's measure 4. And then take that eighth note pair in measure 4 and ignore the second note in that pair. And in your mind's eye, I want you to look at measure 4 and see 4 quarter notes. Say them with me. 7, 7, 7, 8. Yes. Look at measure 5. Do the same thing. 5, 5, 5, 5. Now do that to measure 6. 0, 4, 0, 0. Go to measure 8. How would we turn these 2 half notes into 4 quarter notes? Say it with me. 0, 0, 0, 0. And measure 1, that dotted thing, we just got rid of it, turned it into a quarter note. Look at measure 2, that 10, let's turn that into 2 quarter notes and ignore the second note of the pair there. So say the 4 numbers you see in your mind's eye for measure 2. Say it with me. 8, 10, 10, 7. Now I know this is strange, but when I learned how to do this, all the tunes that were a little strange became kind of cool and playable. And I see ear players do this automatically. They just don't talk about it. Let's play from the beginning. And if you can, you're always welcome to read exactly what's there. But if you can, see just quarter notes. 1, 2, ready, go. 10, 10, 7, 8, 10, 10, 7, 8, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7, 7, 8, 5, 5, 5, 5, 0, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 5, 4, 0. And I want this to be a little ambiguous for you because I think this music is better that way. Which sounds like an excuse, but I do like it. Watch my right hand. If we turn this whole tune into quarter notes, how are you going to add extra strums? Watch this. This is one way to do quarter notes. You move back and forth, you only hit the out. If you want some extra strums, every once in a while, instead of only hitting out only, hit out in like this. And then get back to out only. So one thing I say in every class, and I'm also getting tired of it, is I'm going to move back and forth whether I'm hitting the strings or not. I'm going to hit outs only most of the time. Every once in a while I let the pick do an out in or group of out ins. That's how I get my extra strums. Listen to this fast. You're going to hear a lot of out only with occasional out ins or groups of out ins. Out, 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 out and out, out and out and out and out, 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 out and out and out, out and out, out, out and out, 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 out and out and out and out and out, out, out. And I improvise that. So I don't, I generally won't read those extra strums. I don't like writing them in the music. I don't want to memorize them. It's just I get this hand moving, and every once in a while I let the pick hit more often while I move to the beat. So I hope you'll add some of that to this. Let's play through it. A part. Now if you look at the end of the second line, measure 8 is labeled as a first ending. That's that horizontal black line with a 1. Measure 9 is labeled as a second ending. If you look at the beginning of the first line, we've got beginning repeat signs. If you look at the end of measure 8, you have an end repeat sign. So the way you play through this page is measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is your first ending. It tells you to go back and repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip measure 8. You already used it. Now use measure 9, your second ending. And then the B part you just play twice. So I want to read through this. You're welcome to read exactly what's there. I hope everyone tries adding extra strums. And for some of you know, I like to do less than what is here at first. So I have a nice, solid, shareable version. Here we go. We're going to play slow. 1, 2, ready, go. 10, 10, 10, 7, 8, 7, 10, 8, 7, 8, 10, 7, 7. Next line. 5, 5, 5, oh, 4, oh, 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 5, 4, oh. Go back to the top. First measure. 10, 10, 10, 7, 8, 7. I keep messing that up. Sorry. 7, 8, 10, 7. Here's a quick 8. 5, 5, 5, 5, oh, 4, oh, 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 5, 4. Second ending. Here comes a quick 7. Third line. 5, 5, 5, 5, oh, 4, oh, oh, oh. 5, 5, 7, 7, 7, 8, 5. Do the B part again, a bunch of 5s. Hear me strumming more than what's on the paper. I really like doing a simplified version. I think of it as kind of straightening it out a little bit. Sometimes I never even get to the fancier one, or I might just do some of that fancier stuff. One reason I feel safe in doing this to this page is when I made this book, I tried to put more notes in than dulcimer people are happy with. And then my goal was to show you how to dulcimerize this by straightening it out a little bit. Let's talk about the right hand. These old-time fiddlers, they like to play with a little bit of a swing. Listen to even back and forth. Now listen to swing. 1 and 2 and 3. I want you to strum both ways and count out loud with me. Just do what I'm doing. We'll do even. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now count a swing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Move that right hand. And 3. Now do even. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now let's hear some swing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. I'm not going to teach a whole class on swing. I'd love to, though. But I want to play this tune with a swing feel. So the strum I'm using on this a lot, with some exceptions, is I'm moving with a swing, whether I'm hitting the strings or not. If I hit outs only, you're not going to hear the swing, but you can see it. Do you see how I'm moving unevenly? Every time I do an out in, you'll hear that swing. So let's try that strum where you hit every out, sometimes do an out in or a group of out ins. But when you do that out, it kind of lingers in the out position longer. Predominantly hit out only. Every once in a while do an out in or a group of out ins. A little faster. And if you can count with a swing, that can help. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hear me doing that? 1 and 2 and 3. I'm making the numbers last longer. The and starts a little late. Listen to this. So I'm still playing the kind of beginner version. Adding extra strums. That swing really helps. Listen to it even. I sometimes like to play it like that. And David and I played it like that. But I also like the swing. Here's even. Here's swing. That's kind of heavy, but. So I think it's good for you guys to be open to both, but know this. Guess who swings less than almost anyone? It seems to be dulcimer people. But we're all playing the music of the mountains where they swing it quite a bit. Now, I like doing it both ways, but the thing is, you got to be in agreement with those around you. Like if Olga in Chicago is swinging and Cindy in Brevard, are you really in Brevard? That's great. Cindy in Brevard, she might be playing straight. Olga's swinging. It doesn't quite go together when you do that. There's a little tolerance for a little difference, but if you've never thought of this before, this is a great time in your intermediate years to start thinking about this. Let's play with a swing, the beginner version. 1, 2, ready, go. Chugga, 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 chug, chugga, chug. It's uneven. First ending. A part again. Second ending. Here's your B part. 5. Put some extra strums in there. 5, 5, 5, 5, 0, 4, 0, 0, 0, 5, 4, 0. B part again. 5. So we're going to move through the other tunes a little quicker since we've covered these concepts. And what I want you to do on the other tunes is if we get to a measure with dotted notes or a whole bunch of eighth note pairs, I want you to remember these tricks. If you see a dotted quarter followed by an eighth, you can just pretend it's all quarters. If you see some eighth note pairs that are hard for you, turn them into quarter notes. Keep your hand moving with me. Add extra strums. Because you want to fall in love with the tune a little bit. If it's too awkward, it doesn't happen. At least that's what happens with me. Let's play it as written. So I am going to hold the 10 longer and measure 1. Listen to that. When you take fiddle, a lot of times they'll get you to sing it. So sing this. Yum, bum, ba, ba-dum, ba. Sing it. Or if you don't want to sing the notes, just do the rhythms like this. Yum, bum, ba, da-dum, ba. Do that out loud. Yum, bum, ba, ba-dum, ba. Sing it if you want. Yum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. It's very important that you connect your mouth and your ears and your brain. And if you don't want to sing the notes or have trouble doing that, just speaking the rhythms is incredibly powerful. So if you think you're not a singer, fine, don't sing. But at least speak the rhythms like we're doing here. It can really speed up tune acquisition. So, Yum bum ba ba dum ba. Sing that. Yum bum ba ba dum ba. Now it's great you're clapping with your hands, but your hands are going to be strumming, so don't forget that. Bum bum ba ba dum ba. I'm tapping my foot too. All right, let's play this thing, but not yet. Now those eighth note pairs you were ignoring. Some of you are ready to put them back in. Some of you don't need to. It'll be fine. If you hear three fiddlers playing together, they do not play the same notes all the time. They do in North Korea, though. I mean, that's a dark joke. I don't mean it to be a joke. I don't like going places where everyone has to do the same thing all the time. But I know that I'm being a little heavy-handed with that. It's been a long day. Variation can be nice in old-time music. It is a rustic kind of folk music. It's rustic. It's not smooth. Look at measure 7. Let's just do measure 7. Ready, go. 2. Do it again. My right hand is going out, in across all the strings. I'm doing a lot of full strums here. Measure 7. 1, 2, ready, go. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Let's do it again. Measure 7. 1 and 2. 3 and 4 and 1. Let's do from the top. See what happens. Fake your way through it. It's more important that you get something going. It doesn't have to be the same thing I'm doing, but get something going. 1, 2, ready, go. Hold it. Add some extra strums. I like filling that in. 8, 7, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 0, 4, 0, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 5, 4. A part again. Second ending. Here comes your B part. Third line. Add some extra strums. Swing. Add these extra notes, and if you want, but you don't have to, full strums. Hit all your strings. Third line again. A little faster. A part. Second line. First ending. Go back to the top. Hold this note longer. Second line. Second ending right here. B part. playing extra strums, so when I come across a half note, I hit it more than what's written. I love this tune. I think I want to call it Train on the Island again. I'm ready for that. I like that. I want to go to that island. Where is that place? There's trains on it. I wonder how long those tracks are. Could be Long Island, I don't know. Any questions about that thing? It's hard for me to teach a repertoire class because for years I would hear people play the notes I handed them on paper, but then the rhythm was all messed up. And I just feel like, personally, it's my own personal thing, I like to hear a really good player play really simple stuff as opposed to kind of a messed up player playing really fancy stuff. You know what I mean? I just want to hear the simple stuff done right, like green tea, green beans. Just, give me the bean. I couldn't believe it when I found out you can eat peas right out of the garden. I don't know if it's poisonous. But they're delicious. And raw corn's not too bad. I'm not a raw food person. I'm just saying. Sometimes just give me the thing. Like when you see cookies and it just says sugar, flour, butter, milk, salt or something. It's like, thank you for that. Instead of the dextrose hemoglobin or whatever they put in there. All right, let's take a look at, take your capo and move that sucker to the 4th fret. 4th fret, and we're going to look at Greasy Coat. Greasy Coat. I don't know what this means, but I always think of a groundhog. I've never touched one, but I've heard people talk about it, and I see it in my mind. And anyway, try it out sometime. I don't know if they bite. Do they bite? When's the last time you saw a groundhog, Do you have a bunny on you, Jerry? Is that like a real bunny or a pillow? Oh, I thought it was a bunny. It's a bulldog. All right. Greasy Coat. Now, as far as ignoring things, I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm going to start playing what's written on the paper, but it's not cheating to do a simplified version. Just like you can do that with recipes, you can do it with tunes. If you wanted to ignore the second note of every 8th note pair, it might allow you to kind of stake out your territory. And then you could come back in and fill in the gaps. Look at measure 6. There's a dotted rhythm in there. If you want to, you can just pretend it's 8, 7, 8, 8. You can ignore the second number of the pairs, but I'm going to leave that up to you. Especially when I get to the B part. 0, 5, 6, 7, 8. I might even want to cut out the second note of one pair. Sometimes just doing that to one pair makes everything easier on your hand. These dulcimers are not easy for the harder tunes. Let me let you hear this thing. That's a wild tune. Because when you use the sixes, it sounds minor and bluesy. When you use the 6.5, it sounds kind of like a major scale a little. So this tune's all about going back and forth from the bluesy to the normal. This is a great place to do it on the dulcimer, capoed at 4. Let's try the hard measure here, measure 6. So what I want you to do, I am going to take a note out here. And measure 6, I want to ignore the last note of the measure. And measure 6, ignore the last note of the measure. The fiddle's going to be playing it. You know, the banjos leave out notes a little too. It's actually nice to hear the banjo doing something different than the fiddle. So 8, 7, 8, 10, 8, 6. Say that with me. 8, 7, 8, 10, 8, 6. Say that again. Look at the paper. 8, 7, 8, 10, 8, 6. Let's measure 6 again. 8, 7, 8, 10, 8, 6. We're going to leave that 7 out. Just measure 6. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's do it again. Go. 2, do it again. 2 and 3 and 4. Now it might help to be using 3 fingers there. 3 fingers. It'd be nice if you could see my hands, I guess. All right, let's play the whole A part. 1, 2, ready, go. Second line. Here comes our shortcut. 8, 7, 8, 10, 8, 6, 0, 6, 0, 6. A part again. Here we go. Notice those half notes. Isn't that a neat sound? I think it's cool. Now, if we have more time, there's so many things I want to show people. As I get older, I'm going to have to change my brain. I'm going to have to show less. I'm serious. I'm having a hard time. Is that called digressing? Watch this. See if you can hear these bends. Hear that? Listen to this one. I call them micro bends. So I start by hitting the 6 normal, and then I just push it away from me barely. But only right at the end of it. And you barely have to push. Actually, if you push too much, it sounds weird. Listen to that. So I'll leave that up to you if you want to try it. B part. This is tricky. I'm going to give you a fingering idea. You can watch this video later and get this. And you may not like it. Let me give you a few options. The O, 5, 6.5, 7, 8. Watch this. I'm using 4 fingers. Now, 2 fingers works fine slow, But when you get going super fast, it gets sloppy. 4 fingers, once you get used to it. That's one way you can get through that. Here's another 4-finger approach. Ring, middle, index, thumb. Sounds like whiskey before breakfast a little. Here's another option. Look at one of the 8th note pairs and just drop the 2nd note of the pair. Just the one pair. See if it makes it easier. So look at measure 9, the first measure of the 3rd line. Let's get rid of that 7. That's it. We'll keep everything else. O, 5, 6 and a half, 8, 10. O, 5, 6 and a half, 8, 10. Do this all the time, and other musicians do also. I was just with a chamber orchestra for a week, and the composer came and worked with all the students, and she told them, that part you guys are having a hard time with, when we recorded this, we cheated there. That's too hard. And they were like, what? What do you mean? She said, yeah, you can just ignore every other note just on that first little section there and then double your bowing. I forget what she said, but I thought, yeah, they're doing it too. Did you ever run out of butter and you just make your mac and cheese without butter? It works fine. Without milk, you can just put it in hot water and go. It's not that different. All right, let's play this. Oh, I got to show you another thing. So that little O, 5, 6 and a half, 8, if we ignore the 7, that also shows up at the beginning of measure 11. See that? It also shows up at measure 13. 3 times you do that. It happens like that. Now, let's deal with what comes after it. In measure 9, you end with a 10. In measure 11, you end with an 11. In measure 13, you end with a 10 again. I would love to hear you do this. So we'll do the first note of measure 10, and then just wait for the next measure to start. We get to the end of measure 11. Just hit that 11 and then wait for the next measure to go by. When we get to measure 13. So we're going to just leave out what comes after those high notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, measure 11. 1, 2, measure 13. Now, when you get to those high notes, you don't want to use your last finger to go up there, because in all 3 of those situations, you need one more finger above it. So watch my left hand. If you're a thumb player, don't end on the 10 or the 11 with your thumb. End with an index finger so you can grab that next higher note with your thumb. I'm not using my thumb here, so I'm going... I could go to my index, but then I'm out of fingers, so I go to my middle. And then if I want to play the notes in the next measure, look at this, 4 fingers. Measure 10, but that's hard, and you guys are intermediate, so what are we going to do at measure 10? Drop the second note of all the pairs and measure 10. Here comes measure 10. 10, 10, 10, 7, 0. 11, 11, 11, 11, 8. So when you get to measures 10, 12, and 14, just ignore the second note of the pairs and add some extra strums in. That's what dulcimer people do. And the world needs that. All right, here we go. You do whatever you want. B part. 1 and 2 and 3. You could leave out the 7. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10, 10, 10, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 11, 11, 11, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10, 10. 10, 8, 6, 0, 6, 0, 6, 0, 6, 0. B part again. Here we go. Now, as an intermediate, you do want to start learning how to make better use of your fingers. Sometimes you want to play noter style with one finger. Sometimes you want to play with 4 fingers. But most of the time, you're probably going to do what you already do, which is fine. 80% of the time, maybe, do what you already do. But you guys are going to maybe have to learn for the fancier things. You're either going to have to develop your fingering a little bit or learn how to simplify the harder measures, which is absolutely fine. And some of you might be looking at this and thinking, why is he simplifying it? I can play that. You can't play it well up to speed. I can't either. It's hard. When you start playing the fiddlers. They're playing up there. We don't need to go that fast, But now, why didn't I just write it out for you and do all this and not tell you? Because it's dishonest. I want you to know, because I think it's encouraging. In old-time music, people often take away and add things in a way where they're all still compatible, but it kind of serves their difficulty levels, really. And a banjo player, clawhammer banjo, is not playing all the notes the fiddler's playing, and that's great. We don't want them to. When they do, it sounds a little weird. All right, my 3-minute friends, because we have 3 minutes. Blackberry Blossom. Don't play it. But this is going to be something for you to work on. And Quince Dillon's High D. I'm going to do what I did in another class because I'm the boss and I can do this. So I'm going to schedule a second hour where we cover Blackberry and Quince Dillon's outside of festival time. If you can't make it, you'll still get the video for that. So eventually you're going to get 2 videos. I hope this video is to you sometime tomorrow, and I'll send you an email. And before I hang up on you, let me bring up my to-do list. And then maybe Olga, maybe if you don't get something from me, you could say, hey, what gives? Tennessee goofball. All right, let me find out. Here it is. All right, because I wanted to cover more than just 2 tunes. So schedule second session. Okay. And I have a whole new setup here at the house, and I want to use it. So you'll be helping me. That's really what's going on here. So do you guys have any? You want me to play through it? Okay, I'll play through real quick. I want you to hear Quince Dillon's at least once. This is no capo. I'm I'm watching the clock. If you have to go, I understand. This is an old fife tune, they say. So somebody came back from the war with a fife, and his name was Quince Dillon, and this was his tune. And I love, think about a fife from the lowest to the highest note, and this goes from O to 14 on the melody string. One, two, three, four. I like to imagine that on a fife. A part again. Imagine doing it about twice as fast. Second ending. We're out of time. Second ending. B part. Might have played a different version there. Let's do it fast. So anyway, you get the idea. It's kind of neat. Whew, I'm worn out, y'all. Thank you. You'll be getting an email from me soon. You can leave if you need to go. Do you have any questions about anything? These weird ideas.
Okay, so you'll schedule the second class. When can we get on your case? Like if you don't schedule it by tomorrow, then we get on your case?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you, Stephen.
I mean, like by the end of tomorrow. Yeah.
I'll give you till Monday morning. How's that?
That's great. I'll pay you 15 an hour
Oh, wow.
to remind me to do this. Okay.
All right, sounds
Any
great.
questions or thoughts?
I have a thought.
Yeah.
Since Black Mountain got canceled, why don't you do a Steve Fest?
Well, no one knows this, but some of the performers from Black Mountain are going to just perform online for free and ask people. We're going to give you a list of charities and just ask people, consider giving money to these people. We're trying to figure out who that is. And I know some ham radio guys who have been digging into who is trustworthy out there and who's actually using stuff. But yeah, I've got a whole schedule of things. I gotta get back to being online a little more.
We have Anchor Baptist in Brevard is getting a lot of materials and sending them out to areas where they can't get to. They have mules carrying things out.
Well, Heather's cousin's husband has a horse, and that horse is the only way certain things could happen. A horse, because the bridge got washed away. But
Yeah.
it's rough, y'all. It's just the darndest thing. And so before we all start crying, let's take care of business. Toughen up. We're going to need it. I'll see y'all soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let's get simple.
Thanks, Steve.
Amen.
Thanks,
Yes.
Steve. Bye.
Thank you, Patty. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, dear.